for the long term. Okay, fair enough. Now, as far as I want to get in a little bit about fitness. Okay, strength training. Okay, breaking down the 5 aspects of strength training. Okay, like I said before, most important is cardiovascular, cardiopulmonary efficiency. Okay, so how efficient your heart and lungs, okay, can be full of oxygen in your blood, okay, and go to the extremities to constantly oxygenate your body. Okay, that's one aspect. All right, muscular strength. Okay, obviously that is increasing your muscular strength. Okay, so you're able to producing more force. Right. Muscular endurance obviously is what most people want to focus on. Okay, when I get a client, the first thing they say is they want to lose weight. The second thing they say is that they want to tone up. Okay, so it's always lose weight, tone up. Nobody ever wants to get big and bulky and become a powerlifter or a bodybuilder. Okay, what they don't understand is strength endurance and strength, maximum strength, okay, or muscular strength, really go hand in hand. Okay. Once you guys start getting into a strength training program, and I hope you all do at some point, all right, you're going to find that 1 week you're doing something very light, okay, for the sake of adapting to that exercise. But as your muscles adapt, okay, your muscles aren't going to get sore. You're not going to feel that pain that you did the first time. So you have to confuse your muscle. That's called muscle confusion principle. So that's when you actually have to add intensity to your workouts for the sake of getting that same fatigued feeling that you once did when you first started doing it. Okay? So it's always a balance between muscular endurance and muscular strength. And I have a problem with a lot of models because as soon as I say strength training, whether it's dumbbells, free weights, resistance bands, I've tried to make strength training as least intimidating as possible to these models, but they're under this misconception that they're going to wake up one morning and they're going to look like a football player. They're going to have huge shoulders and big arms, and they're going to be just completely disgusted with themselves. And that's not the case, especially with the women, okay? Because remember, okay, men are actually, and again, I'm not trying to offend anybody, naturally more muscular than women, okay? Reason why is your male dominant hormone is testosterone, right? Okay, and obviously the male or the female dominant hormone is estrogen in women. So in actuality, women actually have to work out twice as hard to get the same results as a man. Okay, and it's really hard for me, okay, to keep a model consistent when it comes to something that is painful, especially when they're not used to doing any sort of manual labor. Okay, if they are so pretty that they are used to having guys do stuff for them throughout their entire lives, those are my worst case scenarios because I have to constantly beat it into their brains that they need to be consistent and that the pain is good and that they need to make friends with their pain barrier. Okay, you will never get results with strength training unless you make pain your friend. Okay, as weird and sadistic as that sounds, okay, you are not getting results, okay, unless you feel pain when you're contracting your muscle. Okay. Let me ask a quick question here. How many of us currently exercise right now? Are even moderately active? Okay? And, now I'm seeing a lot of this. Okay?
What's your definition of exercise?
Okay, I go with the minimum requirements that the government says. So 30 minutes of minimum activity, whether it's walking, jogging, power walking, even just being in school, you have to walk to your classes, okay? You can break it up where if it takes you 5 and 10 minutes and you have to walk around campus 4 times, that equals to 40 minutes. That's considered exercise for a day. Even though your body is capable of doing a heck of a lot more than that, okay? That's something, okay? I'll take that, okay? But I work with a lot of people who don't do anything, who just sit at work all day on their computer, and when they go straight home, and they sit and they watch TV and they go on the computer and they go on the internet and they go on Facebook and they get no activity at all whatsoever, and they're paying the price for that. We're all familiar with the term that the youth is, or what is it? The youth is wasted on the young. Okay, so again, you're all young right now. So again, you really can't appreciate how resilient your bodies are right now until you start getting to my age. I'm 33 years old and I am healing. Okay, and I constantly keep myself active because I know that I'm in the later stages of my life. And you will find that the older you get, the more exercise you will need to do just to keep the things that you take for granted now. So things like being able to bend over and touch your toes, which some people can't do, or even with one leg, okay, or being able to stretch or twist to the side without pulling something. Things we take for granted, you are going to find they're very hard to do later in life, okay? But again, you need to understand that your brain is kind of like a computer, okay? And it all depends on what you program it to do. So starting an exercise program is probably one of the hardest things for anybody to do. Again, as long as you do something or don't do something, the harder it is to change it around. So if you've been sedentary all your life and you're 20 years old, you start an exercise program and the first 2 weeks are not fun, okay? But if you get into the habit and change your perception on it so you're not focusing on what you see in the mirror, but what you're capable of doing physically, okay, and just focus on that perception, okay, now it's almost like a game and your brain actually starts to become addicted to the exercise, okay? I have known, I'll tell you a personal story, but I used to work at the front desk years ago in Glastonbury, okay? And the gym would open up at 4:30 in the morning. Not a lot of gyms open up at 4:30 in the morning, but there would be people waiting in the parking lot at 4 in the morning. And I would think, do these people have lives? But apparently they had very active lives. They had children, they had important jobs. Their jobs were hectic and they would go from morning till night, okay, non-stop. And they needed exercise to jumpstart their day, to wake up their brain, okay? And after that was a coffee, all right? But if I didn't get those doors open at 4:30 on the dot, I would hear it from my boss. I would hear it from the members as soon as they walked through the door. I would have to give them an explanation why I opened up the gym at 4:31. Because they were addicted to what's called the runner's high, okay? Endorphins that's released into your brain, okay? And they pay good money, okay, to use a gym at 4:30 in the morning. Now we have gyms where they're open 24 hours a day, so those people are probably over there, okay? But again, if you can get yourself to a point where you need exercise to function, because these people who are used to getting exercise, if they miss exercise for a day or 2 days or a week, they get very antsy, okay? Their brain chemistry is not used to that, okay? And if you get to that point, that is a good thing, okay? Because you are able to think more effectively, more efficiently, be able to think quickly on your toes, things of that nature, okay? Our president right now is a fluent advocate, okay, of exercise. In fact, he's a member of the New York Sports Club, okay? Which is a good thing. Good promotion, right? So anyways, okay, exercise is for everybody. It's not for a certain type of person, okay? It's for everybody because that's the way your body and your brains are hardwired. Millions of years ago or whatever, when you were cavemen, you would have to hunt for your food and sometimes you would have to chase it. And if you didn't catch it, you would not eat for that day. That's survival of the fittest, okay? We are in an environment right now, okay, where you don't have to chase your food, okay? You make $1 and you can buy a double cheeseburger. You can be full for $3, okay? That has an effect on you, okay? So we need to beat the system. We need to think outside the box, okay? And build a system outside of ourselves. And it's very hard, especially if you have family members or you live with people or your significant other, okay, has horrible eating and exercise habits, okay? When you're with that person, that'll have an effect on you, okay? And it's almost like you have to distance yourself from those people, okay, for the sake of just, okay, living life to the fullest. Okay, fair enough? Okay. I'm good with my tirade. Alright, so is there any questions so far with anything? Okay, did everything I said kind of make sense to you? Okay. And again, I mean, just to give you a brief, again, I don't want to talk too much about myself because I want to make sure that you guys learn your stuff. But it's just, childhood obesity is such an epidemic right now. It's literally considered an epidemic. And just on the news the other day, you guys are familiar with how bad our healthcare crisis is right now. Okay, $146 billion is wasted on healthcare on people who are overweight, just overweight. Okay, that breaks down to $1,400 to $1,500 per person who is overweight and obese extra. Okay, on our economy, which is already being drained. So again, we also actually have to start what's called a fitness revolution. It's a concept that was created by a group of personal trainers years back. Okay. But we need this fitness revolution now more than ever. And I'm dead serious about it because we're not taking it seriously. Okay? And I should not have to see people trickling into a gym. I should see people flowing in at the masses. Not for themselves. Okay? Because I know people who are getting in shape not for themselves, but because for the sake of their children, they want to be able